It's another wonderful afternoon in the nation's capital, Monrovia. We've come to continue the job that we did in the end. The job we continue to do until in eternity. The job we will continue to live for. If possible, we will die for it. And that is why we are here this afternoon. It's inside Liberia on Kia Radio 95.9. Living across the nation's capital, Monrovia. Those of you in Maserati County, those of you in District Number 1 up to District 17. Maserati County, it is good to welcome you to another great presentation of the program inside Liberia on Kia Radio 95.9. I'm glad to be here, and I'm sure you are also glad to be with me. If you are in your home, maybe you are somewhere around town, central town. Maybe you are at your job site, maybe at your business center. Wherever you are, however you are listening, it is Kia Radio 95.9, the newest sensation in the city. We are glad to be here. My name is Morris Desmond Brown, and I'm going to drive you through until 6 o'clock or until 10 minutes to 6 o'clock. 5:50. So until 5:50 we are here, and we're going to do our best. Those of you watching us live on YouTube, I'm sure. If you are watching us live on YouTube, thanks for joining us. Leave your comments. Tell us exactly what your comments, your thoughts are. And leave your comments right on our live stream. And we will definitely read them out for you. We're about to unpack all of the issues in Liberia. So it's good to be here. Let me give you a lineup. Today is December 17, I'm sure. Yeah, today is December 17, and the year is 2024. And we are here beaming live from the nation's capital, right around the UN Drive in Central Monrovia, opposite the BTC Barrack, adjacent the Raditown Market. We are here. Please join us. Let's do our best as we talk about country Liberia. So yeah, I'm here until 5:50 this evening. Let me drive you through. Until then, let's have it together. So shortly we'll go around the world, take bits and pieces of news for you. And then when we return, we'll talk about the Kia Humanitarian Foundation. And then after which, we'll talk about the rolling issues. So yeah, we are engaging a lot of people. And next week, we will have some guests on the show. They have already assured us. And we will start to bring in some people who will come to talk about the issues. So we will bring in opposition, we'll bring in the ruling party, we'll bring in people from civil society. Yeah, whatever it is, we will bring them to talk about the issues that matter. Yeah, so you can rest assured that we all no loyalty to any political institution. We are very, very neutral. So we can call in opposition, we can call in the ruling party, we can call in whosoever, those who do not have any political stance or political stake in Liberia, they can still come to us. That is how we are, and that is what we'll continue to be like. Yeah, so we will continue to do our best. So this is where we go next. Let's see what I can get you bits and pieces of news. Today is the 17th day of December, and the year is 2024. Searching around the world, bringing you bits and pieces of news. It's very essential, very, very important. Searching for it for you and taking it when it is necessary. That is what we're going to do here. Let's go to Russia and Ukraine, see what is happening there. The general killed in Moscow, a legitimate target, says Ukraine. A high-ranking general in the Russian army forces and his assistant have been killed in Moscow by Ukraine security service. A Ukrainian source have told the BBC. Lieutenant General Agor Kirovuk, head of the Nuclear Biological Chemical Defense Force, the NBC, was outside a residential block early on Tuesday when a device hailing in its quarter was detonated remotely. Russia Investigative Committee SK has said a source in Ukraine SBU security service claimed Kirillov was a legitimate target and alleging he had carried out war crimes. On Monday, the SBU charged Kirillov, 54, in absentia, saying on Telegraph that he was responsible for the mass use of banned chemical weapons. This war in Ukraine, I'm not too sure it's going to end anytime soon. The Ukrainian government has not yet commented on the general's death. Pictures from the scene in southeastern Moscow shows the badly damaged entrance to a building with scorch marks of the walls and a number of windows blown out. Two bodies back who also be seen on the streets. The block was rounded off on Tuesday morning as Russian investigators continue combating the area. In October, the UK's placed sanction on Kirillov, saying he had overseen the use of chemical weapons in Ukraine and acted as a significant mouthpiece for this formation, the Ukrainian SBU has claimed Russia used chemical weapons more than 4,800 times under the general's leadership. All of these things, people take statistics of war when the world is fighting. The BBC is also reporting that there might be a ceasefire in Gaza. We don't know whether that ceasefire will be very legit. But let's see what the BBC is reporting. It says Gaza ceasefire talks in final stage. Palestinian negotiator tells the BBC. After months of deadlock, there are new signs that Israel and Hamas could move closer to a ceasefire and hostage release deal. A senior Palestinian officer involved in the indirect negotiations told the BBC that talks were in a decisive and final phase. Israel Defense Minister Israel Katz has also said an agreement is closer than ever. In recent weeks, the UN, Qatar, and Egypt have resumed their mediation efforts, reporting greater willingness by both sides in this 14 months of war to conclude a deal. An Israeli delegation described as working level is currently in the Qatari capital Doha amid a flurry of diplomatic comings and going in the region. Things are happening, and of course, this war between them is one that I want to see ending as well. The Palestinian official outlined a three-phase plan which will see a civilian and women soldier held hostage in Gaza released in the first 45 days, with Israeli forces pulling out of city centers and the coastal road and the strategic airstrips and land along the border with Egypt. There will be a mechanism for displaced Gazans to be able to return to the north of the territory, the officer said. A second stage will see remaining hostages freed and troops withdrawn before the third stage ending the war. Of 96 hostages still held in Gaza, 62 are assumed to be Israelis to still be alive. The plan appears to be based on the deal the U.S. President Joe Biden outlined on the 31st of May, and reports from all sides stressed that there are key details to work out. I really plan to see the war ending in Gaza because of the needless killing of civilians. Let's go to the United States. The BBC is reporting something that is very devastating and pathetic. 2 killed by female student in shooting at a U.S. Christian school. A student opened fire at a private Christian school. At a private Christian school in the U.S. state of Wisconsin, injuring 6 people and killing a teacher and a teenager student. Madison Police Chief Sean Banners identified the attack on Monday night as a 15-year-old female student at the school. Authorities says the attacker was in attendance at Abundant Life Christian School before opening fire and was found dead at the scene. 6 students were injured, including 2 who suffered life-threatening injuries. Things are happening. Things are actually happening in the world. A second grade student, 7 or 8 years old, was the first to call the active shooter report, according to Mr. Barnard. Today is a sad day, not only for Madison, for our entire country, Mr. Barnard said. We have to do a better job in our community. He added the police have not identified a motive in shooting, and the suspect's family was cooperating with the investigation. While he was aware of the existence of a report manifesto, he said it had not yet been verified as authentic. It is not yet clear how the attacker got hold of a firearm. He named the alleged attacker as Natalie, who also went by the name Samantha. She is believed to have died from a self-inflicted gun wounds. The official cause of death will be released by the Dane County Medical Examiner pending autopsy results. The banner said that to his current knowledge, police have not had any prior interactions with the illegal shooting. Things are actually happening in the United States as well. Those of you watching live, please leave your comments so that we can have them read out for you. Let's know who are following, who are those following the show. Still looking for it for you. We want to take one more, then we can come to Africa. You know, when we do all of that, we don't come to Africa, then we haven't done anything. Still looking for it. Trying to get bits and pieces of news for you from around the world to spice your day, you know, let you know what is happening in other countries, other parts of the world. Okay, let's run back to Africa. Let's see whether we can get bits and pieces of news from Africa. Still looking. We are now in Africa. Let's see what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Upper accused of using conflict minerals. Let's see the story very quickly. The Democratic Republic of Congo has filed criminal complaints in France and Berlin after they have realized that the subsidiary of the tech giant Apple, accusing it of using conflict minerals. Acting on behalf of the Congolese government, lawyers have argued that Apple is conflict in crimes and committed by armed groups that control some of the minerals and some of the mines in the east of the DRC. In its 2023 review of the issue, Apple said it monitors its supply chain and work to mitigate risk, as well as improving measures to trace the source of minerals. The authorities in France and Berlin will now look at whether there is enough evidence to take the legal action further. In a statement, the lawyer of the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, talked about Apple supply chain being contaminated with blood minerals. They allege that the team tantalum have been taken from conflict areas and then launched through international supply chain. Yeah, the people in conflict and people are there trying to take their minerals. This is not fair. It is really not fair. And that is the main reason why they're fighting in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Because some part of the country is so rich in minerals, other people feel that they should be the one controlling it. And that has sparked tension and, of course, a lot of rebel groups to upspring. But that is exactly what the BBC is reporting. Stay in Africa. Let's see what is happening in the Republic of Kenya. Kenyan gets 50 years for murder of LGBT activists. Kenyan photographer Jack Tong has been sentenced to 50 years in prison for murdering his housemate, LGBT activist Edwin, popularly known as Edwin Chiluba, nearly 2 years ago. Judge Rubin said the decreed's long sentence was based on the diabolical minor of the killing. Chiluba, a 25-year-old fashion designer, was smothered to death and his body was dumped in a melted box on the roadside in Eldoret. The murder sent shockwaves through the LGBT community in Kenya. I mean, when people are of a different gender, it doesn't mean you should kill them. That's their view. That's how they see life. Though for Christians, people always say they do not believe in it. But other people, that's their lifestyle. That's the way they want to live. You cannot take away somebody's life because they are, believing that they can be, different kind of person. And they can appear different. Let's take one more and then we can come back to talk about the issues that matter. Let's go down to Nigeria and see what is happening there. It's our final stop. Controversial Nigerian pastor dismisses UK deportation claims. High-profile Nigerian pastor Toby has dismissed claim that he was about to be deported from the UK, where his church is facing allegations of financial misconduct. Pastor Adebayoga, leader of SPAC Nation, Salvation Proclaimer Ministries Limited, now known as the Nation Family, told the BBC that there is no deportation order. Let me make this clear. He said the court sees the case and it was still ongoing at the court. Yeah, so Nigeria, everywhere there is a problem. But let's read you that story further. Supporting two jurists encrusted rings in a Louis Vuitton tie. The preacher said he arrived in the UK age 25 in 2005, on a visitor's visa, and assumed his family was handling his immigration paperwork. But this was not the case. I lost track of time, he said, referring to the nearly decade-long delay in applying to regularize his immigration status. He also said it would be impossible to move his church to Nigeria in even he was deported. In December, an investigation by the UK Charity Commission found serious misconduct and or mismanagement in the administration of the church. But Pastor Adebayoga dismissed this allegation. It is false. They have been on this thing for the past years. 4 years, he said. Pastors, well, we have problems. But let's get a little bit into the story. In 2019, a BBC Panorama investigation found it had been accused of financially exploiting young members of the congregation. Members said they had been forced to donate money after taking out loans and through benefits fraud. The church denied these claims at the time. Pastor Adebayoga also dismissed these allegations. If you have 1,000 people in a place, are you telling me 30 people will not be disgruntled? How on earth do you run an organization without disgruntled people? He said. Should disgruntled people be in the church? Let's come back home. Enough of that. Let's come back home. Disgruntled people should not be in the church. Disgruntled people should always find a space somewhere else, because the church is the place for people to renew their minds. So, renew their minds is very, very good. Yeah, so we are back home and we can talk all of the issues. But before we start to talk, let's run for a break and we take commercials and we will be right back. So don't go away. Just keep us on your dial 95.9 and keep us on your screen. We are going to be right back. Don't go away. Keep it locked down. Let's take it from Amazing Care back in the United States. And they are, offering very, 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 very affordable medical care to all, regardless of your race, your creed. They are doing that. Let's take
This is a home health agency. We send nurses and home health aides to patients' homes and take care of them, provide medical and non-medical services for them in their homes. So that's what we're doing. This is the office space where the high-end process is rendered.
Also, the assisting admin at Amazing Care. I've been with this company since 2014 when we were making nothing. And we were literally in the basement of our apartment this is how growth have brought us this far. 2-bedroom apartment, and we were literally using the basement and the garage space to carry on this business. And because of growth, we moved here on 2019, and we've been here since 2019 doing this. And God has been so faithful along the way, and we're still going strong. You can see this is the office of Amazing Care. We want to welcome the Care Network.
Shop furniture or electronic appliance that give your home or office beauty? Now visit Cozy Home for the latest beds and decks, chairs and tables, or that special TV, air condition, or other electronic products for the best price in town. Cozy Home is on the 3rd Street Sinker opposite All Education Ministry with all that you're looking for. Call us on 0887-111-101 or visit us on the 3rd Street Sinker. Cozy Home, the best in town for furniture and electronics.
We are feeling, baby. Welcome back, and that was a commercials, and you can visit Cousin Home right on the 3rd Street in Cinco. They have the best in terms of furnitures. They have furnitures that could satisfy your relaxation purpose, and you can only trust them in the best when it comes to your home being furnished through furnitures. Yeah. So you can trust them. Yeah, they are right on the 3rd Street in Cinco. Yeah, you can visit them today, and you can smile as you decorate your home with the best furnitures. Welcome, folks. Welcome, and we're back after a very short commercial break. The Care Humanitarian Foundation is a very, very, very serious foundation. A foundation meant to provide humanitarian services for our people. A foundation that I believe is making the difference. And I know not many of you will know, but as it is, we've been having people coming in, and they've been asking some questions about the Care Humanitarian Foundation. What are we into, and what can we offer? We can actually offer a lot, and that is what we've been doing. Our fellows are very, very organized in terms of what we delivered. We are into health, education. We are into sanitation and agriculture. I know it is very difficult to find organizations in this town that will be providing services to our people needlessly, in a way that shows that they are very concerned and they need nothing in return for what they do. And that foundation you find is Care Humanitarian Foundation. And we'll continue to talk about the Care Humanitarian Foundation because the Care Humanitarian Foundation provides services for Liberians, especially those who do not have the privilege and they do not have the hand, especially for school-going kids who families cannot afford the already harsh economic conditions in Liberia to put them in schools. It is just important that we continue to do what we can do in order to giving back to the Liberian people. And the person in center, those in the center of this, is our dynamic CEO and his wife, Mr. Christopher Kier and Madam Josephine Kier. They've been very instrumental. The little resources that they are earning in the United States, they decided to put it back to our country. And a lot of people, they've benefited. A lot of people have been offered to have their kids back in school this year, it is a dream come true. You know, when these people were interviewed and they were talked to, they were clear that it is their first time to see an organization or a foundation bringing to them what is really what they call financial aid or financial assistance. Because if you have a financial assistance that you get 100%, it is with sadness that some people cannot afford. And that is why the foundation have gotten involved to help them. We put a lot of kids in school this year. We bought their books, we bought their copybooks, their uniforms, we bought their shoes, we bought their book bags, we paid their school fees 100%. It is the work and the handwork of our dynamic CEO and his wife. They've decided to give back to Liberia. They've decided that the little they earn, the little they get in the United States, they will give it to charity. And giving it to charity, they've shown that they are capable and able to handle it. That is why our continuous support and the continuous support they continue to give to communities have always shown that they are capable enough to handle what they're handling. To pay the fees of over 15 students. And not just paying their fees, buying their socks, buying their shoes, buying everything that concerns going to school. It's not a bread and butter thing. Listen, when people say they are rich or they have money, the only way that statement can be validated or can be authentic is when you as a person, you are giving back to your community. All these people who talk about riches, they talk about how they are rich, they got money. How do they spend their money? The way people know that you are rich and you have money is when you decide to give back to the poor. But not everybody in the country is an humanitarian. There are some people who don't believe in giving. But Mr. Christopher Kia and his wife, they believe in giving. That is why they're helping students get back to school. They are helping them to regain their full potential by getting back to school. Not many people can do what they're doing with no external support. It is a support single-handedly being sponsored by Mr. Christopher Kia and his wife, the CEO of Kia Humanitarian Foundation and Kia Radio 95.9. Nobody should tell you. Let me tell you, even the business people can bear me witness. No business person, nobody want to spend their money. Nobody feel happy spending their money. Nobody feels happy if they have money and they are spending it. Nobody feels good spending money. Nobody. Not even me. Even in my house, when I'm spending money, nobody feels good spending money. But when you are spending money on the right cause, it's like you have a home and you're buying matches every 2 days. When the matches are supposed to carry maybe 2 weeks or so, but the matches is taking you for only 2 days, and every day you rebuy. Will you feel good? So the same way, when these humanitarian services are given to our people, we expect that there should be appreciation for what they've received. And we are very grateful to our CEO, Mr. Christopher Kia, and his wife. They are doing magnificent, and they've done exceptionally well to keeping the NGO and the radio station up and flowing. Like I said, 2025 is a year of a complete turnaround for both the foundation and the radio. It is a year of trying to take something from where it is now to another place. The foundation will be very visible, and everywhere you see the foundation, you will see the radio. That is how it is being built. Everywhere you see the foundation, you will see the radio. That's why we're encouraging a very responsible, very responsive fan base. A fan base that we can trust. A fan base that we can say to ourselves that we have a family. Can have a family. Today, I'll be doing something very extraordinary. After, I will leave some time for callers. When I get you with the issues, when you call, we'll write down your name and, if possible, your number. We want to create a very strong fan base. We want to create a very strong fan base. A fan base that will be called a family. And I know you want to be a part of that family, the Kia fan base or the Kia family. When you call, we'll get your name, we'll get your location, we'll get your number. And we will definitely give you a call. We have, listen, 2025 is not going to be a year of us sitting. And you, the community people, will get involved. You, our callers, you, our regular listeners, you will be involved. You will drive the spread of the radio station and the foundation. We need you. So get ready. It's going to be a very great time with you. And that is why I encourage all of you today. We'll open the lines. If you want to be a part of our fan club, Kia Radio Fan Club, we'll give you a time for you to call. And when you call, we'll get down your name, your number, where you live, we'll get to know, and we'll call a meeting, and then we can start from there. We want a family that we can trust. We can say to ourselves that we have our fan base, we have people that we can lean on, we got people we can trust. Because trust me, there will be opportunities. I'm being honest with you on this. There will be opportunities. And we will be looking out for people who are part of our family. We give priority to our people who are our fan base and our people who are with us, who are calling on the shows, who are showing concern, who are with us. They are listening to all of the shows. We will give you a priority. We'll give you priority. We'll prioritize you. That is the reality. Nobody leaves his house burning and go to his neighbor's house to go and cut off the fire. Who does that? Who will leave their house burning and they go to their neighbor's house to cut the fire that is burning at their neighbor's house? Same way with us. We're not going to leave you out if you are a part of us, if there are opportunities and we start to look for people around. We will definitely prioritize you, that you can assure yourself. And it begins today. It starts today. When we open the lines, we want to hear you from different communities. Your full name, number, be a part. We'll call a meeting. Once we get all of these particulars, we'll get everything we said with the management, we tell them this is it, and we want to do this. They will give us support, and we can start from there. We can start from there. It's a very good thing for us to do. And it begins today. So get yourself ready. So the Care Humanitarian Foundation is here. And of course, you will see them in your community. And we are beginning some very good works. And you will be a part of it. Those of you who believe in humanitarian services, you will be definitely a part of it. Now, I want us to transition because we don't have much time. We want to leave a lot of time today to interact with you, the public. I know it might be a little bit strange, but we want to really interact with you today. We really want to. You know, folks, I was just on this radio yesterday, and I was actually admonishing our people. I was admonishing both the police and the Liberian people. Those of you who listened to the show yesterday, you know, back then people used to call me the political prophet. I saw this coming. I really saw this coming. And I knew there would have been a standoff. I knew it. I knew there would have been a time where there would have been a clash. That is why I admonished both sides. I admonished the protesters yesterday. I admonished the police through the operatives of the government. I admonish everyone that what I see ahead, and I even cited the instance of the 1979 riot that resulted into the ousting of the president, that ended up letting us to lose a president. I made mention of all of these things. I cited instances. I cited constitutional ramifications. And I told you what was good for the country and what would have ended in chaos, and I said it yesterday. People did not take you today. Yes, what we have. I lately went to the capital when I got to town, thinking I would have, but I met several of my colleagues, media people, and they all complained about the treatment that were meted against them by the police. And several of them complained that they were tear gassed. I was not on the protest scene, and I'm not going to tell you that I was on the protest scene. But there are media people who were on the protest scene. Our own Jefferson Weah here at Kia Radio was on the protest scene. He was there. He saw everything that transpired. He saw everything that transpired. I went to the Capitol building lately when the situation quieted. I went there and I spoke to a few journalists. One of my very good friend, who is a journalist as well, Stephen Compton, I earlier on posted on Facebook that he was tear gassed directly in his face, knowing that he had identity as a press person. I want to deal with the issue of the press first before I go to the nitty-gritty of the entire thing that transpired today. Journalists in this country should not be treated the way they've been treated. Our job is to give the public a vivid picture of what is happening in the country. Our job is to report from the both sides, to report from the side of the protesters and report from the side of the police or the government. And do journalists play that role very neatly? Yes, they do play that role very neatly. Yeah, do journalists slip at times in terms of their reportage? Yes, they do slip, but they are humans. They make mistakes. I mean, we're not gods. We're not infallible. We are not people who are not liable to mistakes. We are liable to mistakes. But to directly tear gas a journalist, that was high level of extremism. We detest it today. We detest it tomorrow. We detest it any day. It is a form of a crackdown on press freedom. It is a crackdown on the freedom of the press to report what they are seeing. And we expect that by now the press union of Liberia will release a statement. But again, maybe the press union maybe they have not received a formal communication from these journalists that were badly treated on today. But again, we want to say, I saw this coming and I said it yesterday. Yesterday, the entire presentation was on that particular gathering that took place today. I know you can bear witness, those of you who listen to this show religiously every day. I said it yesterday. That if there is a group that would have been at the Capitol to do any counter protest, it would have been very disastrous. Now, let me show you a picture. Those of you that are watching, let me show you a picture of let me show you a picture of the crowd. As you can see in the photo there, they are people who attended the gathering on today. Several of them were wearing their whites, and apparently some of them in different t-shirts, but they came under a particular purpose, and they came for a particular purpose, and that purpose was to tell the lawmakers that enough is enough. That is the picture for you. That is the picture. I thought to show you the crowd, the number of persons that gather. You want to see that again? I can put it back on the stream so you can see it. This is it. This is the picture. And you can see the people gathering. It was a very huge turnout. And I can be very honest, like you can see from the photograph, a very huge turnout. You know, sometimes the same thing I told you yesterday. I am an organizer of a protest or a gathering. I've been organizing a lot. We organized one few years ago in December, where we have people gathering, and went to the Capitol building, went several places. I know what the end result of some of these protests, how they end up. Sometimes they do not end up good. They start very good. And it started with the June 7 protests. I mean, going back a little bit, having a little bit of retrospection, the June 7 protest that was spearheaded by Henry Costa was one that was organized very neatly. And the gathering started very, very good. At the end of the day, it became a problem when they started bringing copots, and they started bringing pots and beans, and they started to bring sausages to cook in front of the mansion. Is it a good thing for protesters to do that? No, it is demeaning the sanctity of the executive mansion. That was wrong. And because of that, the police had to tell them, after several negotiations, in fact, June 7 protests I was covering the protests. I was covering. I was on the field. I know what took place there. The police negotiated with the protesters several times. The Nigerian men would say severally. And they went back and forth. They went back and forth. And the protesters refused to adhere. They said they weren't moving their co-parts, and the police had to use force to remove them. That was a start of a serious controversy that started between the protesters and the police. We watched that happen. I cannot tell what was the main reason that led to the fracas between the protesters of today and the police. I cannot tell. But sources have it that sure there was a demand from the protesters either to go to certain length, and the police and the government said, no, you cannot reach this length. You cannot go this place. I think it became a problem. Then I think it resorted to stone throwing. And then the police start to use force. And you see, let me talk to the protesters first before I talk to the police. When you organize a protest, you have a goal. That goal is to see you as a person giving your petition to those who are supposed to receive your petition, talking with relevant authorities. That is your goal. If you have been deprived of reaching that goal or those goals, you can initiate a conversation. That is why I stressed the need yesterday of every organized protest or every organized grouping to have a leaders that will put their chest in the bullet to say to the government, we are the organizers. We are organizing this protest. We are organizing this gathering. If anything goes wrong, hold us. It's very important. I don't know whether that was done. If that wasn't done, it was a misstep on the part of the protesters. But again, people do not need permit to gather. It is a right given under the Constitution. A right given under the Constitution that people can peacefully gather. The Constitution underscores the word peacefully. And if the protesters were not peaceful enough, that is a problem if they were not peaceful. But from the beginning of their gathering I was following, I did not see any form of violence. You know, when I went to the clinic for checkup, then I lost track of what was happening. Only to see on Facebook several things. When I got to town, I decided to go to Capitol Building where I still saw a few journalists. They showed me some very horrible pictures of the scene. Some people got hurt. Like this picture here, you will see this picture of the person very badly hurt. We remove this. We put this. This one. The person is hurt as well. You can see it. No citizen should go through pins of this nature. Remove this. Show this. These are pictures of people being wounded. As you can see on his head, you see on his head here, he's being badly hurt. His shirt is filled with blood stain. What am I showing you these pictures? I'm showing those pictures to you so that you are abreast with the damage that have occurred up Capitol Hill. Listen, protesters should always be the male in their gathering. They should always be very, very peaceful. If the protesters were not peaceful, it is a problem. And I continue to say that. Because protesters, people who gather for a cause, in terms of giving or presenting a petition, they must always be patient because you have a goal. Unlike the June 7 protest, when the protesters were demanding that the president of the Republic of Liberia should come and hold the petition from their hands. How does that happen? How can the president of the Republic come down to receive petition? It doesn't work. The Constitution says you should petition your lawmakers. The lawmakers will in return, on your behalf, send a copy of that petition to the president. They know how to do it. Not you, the protester, demanding that the president must come to you and take the petition from your hands. What do you have lawmakers for? In this instant case, no protester was demanding to see the president. All the protesters there are sure they were so cognizant of the fact that they had a goal, and that goal was to send a shockwave to tell the representatives that enough is enough. You cannot store the workings of the country for your personal gains. And for sure, why that situation turned chaotic is because the number of police officers that would normally be assigned at the Capitol building became more because the majority bloc decided to have a section today. In spite of all that they heard, that there were a group of Liberians that were marching, coming to meet them, they chose to have sections. So the police now will do everything to protect the section that the people are having, because the budget component, they are now passing the budget as a 4G. They are not doing due diligence to the budget anymore. They are only passing it. No due diligence has been done to the budget. Be honest with that. That one, we're not going to mutter our words on it. The budget is being forced. 4G passage, the budget is getting. No scrutiny, no looking at it from the revenue angle to say, this is it. How do we raise, the money? How do we do this? All of that, they are not concerned about it. All they're concerned about is to pass it 4G. Even though it is illegal the way they're doing it, but yet they choose to do it the way they want to do it. So the number of police officers increase because they want to pass the budget on a cover quickly. That is unfair to the Liberian people. And knowing for the world that there are growing wave, people are complaining, people are saying they would have come to the Capitol building, you still force it to go have section. You didn't work for almost 2 months. That today, if you would have given today out, it would have caused problem for the country. No, it wouldn't have caused anything. For almost 2 months, you are not working. You're on your fight. You're not making any major decisions in the country. But because budget is before you. What will enrich a lot of lawmakers is before them. So they are so eager to go and sit in danger when they know very well they should not be sitting there. But they increase the number of police person because they wanted to stay have session to pass the budget on a 4G. There is a problem in Liberia. There is a serious problem in Liberia. A very serious one. As we speak, doctors are on go slow. Doctors are on go slow. Doctors are on go slow. In several parts of the country, health workers are not working. This is a bad news for the country, be honest with you. I called a friend in Tottenhamburg, and he said the government hospital in Tottenhamburg, all the nurses are on go slow, they're not working. Doctors are not working. And we are here fighting. Nurses are not working. The country is locked down. And right now, if you have a patient who is on critical list, sorry to say, you might lose them. Several hospitals are not working, not just Tottenhamburg. The reason I called Tottenhamburg first is because it's my country of origin. So I needed to single out bombing country first before moving on. The CH Rennie Hospital. Also, nurses are vexed. Nurses are angry. They put down their instrument. All the instrument they're using, they put it down. They're not working. The GH Harley Hospital in Sanikole, City Nima County, is also not working now. The nurses and the doctors have put down their equipment. They said they're not working. All in demand of salary. But the government can allegedly take thousands of US dollars to bribe lawmakers to remove a speaker, when that money can be used to put medicine and increase the salary of doctors and nurses. Sanikole City, Nima County, the hospital there, GH Harley Hospital. That is how it's called, GH Harley Hospital in Sanikole City, Nima County. The nurses there are on go slow. The nurses are on go slow. We'll come to that issue. But we have a situation on hand. We are told, according to some press releases that I've seen, I don't know how they got the information, but I will read you Martin Cuddy's press conference. And I'll show you how reporters in the field as well. So maybe because of what his reporters reported, that is how you got informed and decided to write this press statement. The government will need to address these issues because it's very, very important. Press statement for immediate release. That is on Martin's page. Martin Kane Colley, once a very staunch supporter of the Unity Party. In fact, he was called Rescue Rambo. He said here, and I will read verbatim for you: we condemn police brutality and violence, call for calm and restraint. Voices from Ezra, vexed, call for crime between state police officers and aggrieved protesters. Everyone has the right to assemble and protest in an orderly and peaceable manner. This right is guaranteed under Article 17 of the 1986 Constitution. We therefore encourage the government to protect the rights of the aggrieved protesters. The firing of tear gas is condemnable and inimical to freedom of assembly and freedom of expression. We call on state security to immediately refrain and use lethal force against unarmed protesters. The use of force or threats by state security against journalists is also unacceptable. So Matthew Colley highlights the first issue that I spoke about, how journalists were being brutally handled. Some of the journalists were sprayed directly in their eyes. This is how brutal it was up Capitol Hill. And Matthew Colley captures that. And I spoke to journalists who were affected. They told me. On the other hand, the throwing of stones by aggrieved protesters at the police officers and refusing to act in an orderly and peaceable manner is also condemnable, while Article 17 guarantees protesters and guarantee protests. It also insists that such action must be orderly and peaceful. Hence, we call for calm, peace between the police and the aggrieved protesters. The cherished values and tenets of democracy must be protected. The onus is upon everyone. Signed, Matthew Colley, Ezra Liberian activist. The first thing he wrote about that I want to flag out is how journalists were treated. I'm very concerned. If nobody in this country is concerned about the way journalists were treated up Capitol Hill, I am very concerned. Thank God, our own Jefferson Weah, who went there, came up very untouched and unharmed. We bless God for that. We don't know whether he was tear gas as well. We did not have conversation with him before coming on the radio because we had a very serious meeting at the office. But however, we know journalists that were victimized. We know journalists and we talk to them that were victimized. Some of them were being tear gas directly. Undiscriminatively, they were tear gas. You cannot do what you didn't do in the past government. The United Party did not change the police. The United Party inherited the same police that the CDC had. How come their attitude then during the CDC's administration was better in terms of handling protests, and it is now bad under the United Party administration? How come? Now, a few things. Maybe the order, there are different bosses and different way people handle issues. If you read public administration, those of you who are students of public administration, you will know that there are people with different administrative core values. There are people with different administrative skills. Some people, they are not the talking type, but they implement very steadily. There are some people who are the talking type and they do not harm, but they are harmless, They just talk. Maybe their face look so horrifying, but they do not bite. They are just straightforward with things. There are some people who laugh and they are straightforward. There are people who don't laugh and they are not straightforward. You see, different kind of people in different society. So maybe then the police director, Patrick Suru, will not allow police to do what they're doing. Then maybe Patrick Suru will say, no police officer should use force. In fact, police officers should go to the headquarters, get food, and give to protesters, because we saw that. We called protests during CDC time. We saw police sharing food. But did the police change when the government was changing? No. The Unity Party inherited the same police that were sharing the food then. Not the same police now. Not different police. How come they've changed? It said that the men who were covering protests, who were on the field, trying to protect lives and property during protest time, are different from the men now? Those are questions we all need to answer. Why is it that the police then, during CDC administration, will share food, gave the protesters water? We saw that. How come it's not happening now? We are told the former presidential aide to former President Weah was arrested as well. I don't know whether he was found rioting, but I'm told he was arrested. I'm also told that the former president, President Weah, who was on a visit to Ghana, cut short his visit, and he's back in country and is expected to release a statement very soon. All of these things are hurting. When the country is not going forward and the Liberian people keep living in abject poverty, and their lives and the state of destitution continue to rise above the horizon. We are not here to polish anything. When the government is wrong, the government is wrong. When the government is right, the government is right. I think the way they handle protesters up Capitol Hill with the videos I've seen, a lady was dragged. I saw that video. Very horrifying. This is not the first time. This very government, upon taking over, there was a riot in Kinjor. There was a protest in Kinjor. We're told that the police again used force, and it became a problem. We could not confirm, and up to now I cannot confirm, but people who live in Cape Mountain told us that there were confirmed person. There was one person confirmed dead during the fallout between the police and the protesters then in Grand Cape Mountain County. Will we continue on that path? And least to say, we need to say this: the Unity Party had all her chances to protest during the regime of the CDC. The Unity Party had everything. They were protesting for continuum of money missing. They were protesting for everything. June 7, they were protesting. They protested several times in this country. Their rights were protected. Police were there. Yeah, there were a few scenes of casualties and stuff, and police took seize of the matter. But you cannot stop early crackdown on people gathering. You can't stop that. It is a bad sign. And to be honest to you, it is a bad sign for the country and for the government. Police Inspector General, my own brother from Broadville and Clay Ashland, Mr. Gregory Coleman, you got to call your men to order. I know the police, they are there to protect lives and property, but when they start to go brutal, then it becomes a problem. And like I said to the protesters, if there were people there throwing stones, it was completely out of order. You cannot go to have a peaceful march, as you call it, and you start to throw stones. Several protests happening under the CDC administration here. The ANC organized their protests called Fix the Economy, so that's how it was called. And they all ended very well. Police officers were there, providing security, making sure that they do what they need to do to get the situation under control. What is different now is what I want to know. Is there any different thing? What has happened? What has changed? What has changed? Is it the men that were going to help doing protesters are the ones that they have changed, or the police in generality, or the police in entirety have been changed? What is it? Because we see this, the United Party did not recruit any police officer. Be honest with you, the United Party have not brought in new set of police officers. It is the same old police officers. Beside the hierarchies of the police that is the United Party appointed, the bulk of the police officers are still the ones who were there during the regime of the CDC. How come? How come we are here? We are at this position. How did we get here as a country? The police should always use lethal force in order to continue to. I saw several press releases where people are alleging that there were gunfires, there were live bullets, allegedly being fired by the police. We cannot independently confirm these things, but we are saying the force that was used on protesters were unwarranted. They shouldn't have happened, and we think the police inspector general should get involved. There should be a serious investigation. There were dignitaries on that gathering. I saw one of the ladies on the Constitutional Committee who helped to, I think it was either restructure or to do something with the Constitution. Prayer Bamboo was also on that. She was also in the gathering. There were other people who chose and believed that the protest had a lot of logic. The gathering had a lot of logic and it needed to be there. But yesterday I preached the same thing and I said we needed to be very peaceful in our assembly. So if the police used force that they shouldn't have used, it was wrong. But if the protesters also tempted the police by throwing rocks or stones and hurting police officers, I'm also told that a police officer was badly beaten. A journalist told me that when I went up Capitol Hill. The journalist said he saw that the police officer was beaten and his weapon taken away from him by protesters. That was also wrong. If these accounts are true, we condemn the brutality against protesters. We condemn the brutality against police officers as well. They are human beings. They got their families. They should not be treated as enemies. They are not enemies. They are only trying to protect lives and property. Though sometimes they go beyond what is expected. But nobody in this country should go beyond to disgrace a police officer, beating them, taking away their weapon. I mean, it is a national security problem. If one weapon is retrieved from a police officer, it is a national security problem. We now ask the National Security Council to work as seriously hard. If it is true that that police officer weapon was retrieved or was taken from him by protesters, they must find that gun. They must find it. Wherever he went, they must find it. That weapon could be used for different purposes if we're not careful. That weapon could be used for robbery. That weapon could be used to antagonize the government if the government is not proceeding in the way they should. That weapon could be used in that vein. Do we want that happen? No. Our country have come a little too far for us to retrogress again. All these things are recipe for chaos. All these things are recipe for a country to retrogress badly. We're not asking for too much. What we're asking for is for people to respect the laws. You see the pictures that you saw the pictures that I show you. They're bad. They're terrible. Now, let's talk to the government small before we open the lines. Hospitals are closed. Hospitals are closed. This is what we're getting. The government hospital in Tottenburg is closed. The one in San Nicolet is closed. I'm told Redemption as well. Somebody just sent me a text message and they're telling me Redemption as well. If these places are not functional because of few problems about salary or about benefits, or I'm also told that students who are medical students are also protesting. Medical students are also protesting. That's what we are told. The government needs to work seriously hard. They have reached a place the government needs to work harder. Nobody in this country should be made to suffer. If the government cannot provide any kind of service or services for the Liberian people, health and education are very essential. Let's forget about the electricity. Sometimes we will manage. Some people get their generator, they will run their generator. But when people have health crisis, they cannot settle this crisis at their homes. They can't. When they have situation where they cannot send their kids to school, it is a problem. Education and health are very key component of every government responsibility of delivering on these promises. And I'm sure the United Party will not want to fail on these things. But with these hospitals being closed temporarily because doctors are demanding something, whatever they are demanding, the government should now sit down with them and start to have conversation. The Ministry of Health needs to work around the clock. Because where the hospitals are closed, if there is a very serious emergency and these people cannot afford going to private hospitals, it will be a problem. They might lose their loved ones. And that is the onus is on the government to mitigate these things. When you start to hear, the government cannot tell me that they have not heard health workers complain in this town. The CDC was confronted with a similar problem. Every government will be confronted with this problem where if not the health workers, the teachers will have problem, the doctors will have problem. But your strength to mitigate, your strength to dialogue with them, to sit down and have a paradigm shift in their decision, it matters. It matters. So that is it. Those are a few things that we've talked about. At 10 minutes, at 5:50, we have to end the show because we have to give ways to the news team that will come to set up for the news. So we will now open the lines. Like we encouraged you, want to create a very strong fan base. You can call us for us to get your name, your number, where you are, and we can add you in our database. We'll call you for a meeting. We'll sit down and we'll have things that should be beneficiary to our people, we will prioritize you. That one we can show you that, and that is why we want to build a strong team. Be a part of the team today. Or you can make comments on some of the things that we have spoken about. Let's open the lines. These numbers I'm calling are numbers that are alternative numbers. Alternative numbers. 0778 440964. You can talk about the issue of Capitol Hill. You can talk about the hospitals that have been closed temporarily. You can make mention of these things. We can talk about it. You can talk about the Care Humanitarian Foundation that you've heard about. Yes, we can talk about all of those issues. They are very important. 0778 440964. Again, 0778 440964. Or 0778 13 20 94. 0778 13 20 94 are the numbers you can call to be a part of the program inside Liberia on Care Radio 95.9. And we are here gradually. Let's take a break while we are with your calls. Let's take this break and be right.
Looking for that special furniture or electronic appliance that give your home or office beauty? Now visit Cozy Home for the latest beds and decks, chairs and tables, or that special TV, air condition, or other electronic products for the best price in town. Cozy Home is on the 3rd Street Sinker opposite All Education Ministry with all that you're looking for. Call us on 0887 111 101 or visit us on the 3rd Street Sinker. Cozy Home, the best in town for furniture and electronics.
Okay, welcome. Let's take our first caller. Good evening. Oh, we lost that person. You can call us back 0778 0778 440964. This person is back. Again, I don't know, maybe it is the network, but the person keep going off. 0778 440964. Let's take our next caller. Good evening. Yeah, Mr. Cole, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Well, thanks for asking.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again.
Yeah. That's what I appreciate from the analysis. To the issue of the how are you the possibility for why the suddenly the analysis. I want to take it from this taking it is because of the protection. The protection again, private one. One already perhaps I want to say I think perhaps that's the reason I'm yeah, to believe that. Because therefore today I got a report from OKFM journalist who was not that the protesters started flashing on the road and but that is the issue of the right of people. So therefore the police will use force. But I am not encouraging the police to always the thing is always because the country that we have. For me, I'm a defender. I can hit any government in my life. I cannot go for protest. What people I can go for? They put them there, I can protest at the bottom. I can assure them at the bottom. I am not prepared for that because the man I will be happy the next day will have that man. I may be going with a peaceful man. But my police alone cannot be peaceful. Maybe the leader intended for them to be peaceful. But there are no other guys, and the times that maybe the students who can be the court. You understand what I'm saying?
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, it's students who can be the court. That maybe the protesters, the sport is of the protesters in students. So therefore, if you have for me, if I have to I wait for the Vanapa. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Jeremiah, for your participation as well. We'll take two more calls if we can have 0778 440964 0778-440-964 or 0778-1320-94. You can join us. Let's talk about the issues that matter on Kia Radio 95.9. Like I told you, at exactly 5:50, we will end the show to give 10 minutes to our news team so that they can prepare, because our news is up at 6 o'clock. Very authentic, factual, timely, credible, very, very, very succinct. That is the kind of news you get from Kia Radio 95.9. A team of very serious and honest journalists to join us. This person have joined us. Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah. Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Arabi from the Oil Road.
Yeah, my Arabi, welcome.
Thank you for the show. You know, what I saw today, it grieves my mind. Why it is true that we should always be truthful. I saw someone, I don't know where they came from, but when the police fired a tear gas to the mansion way, apparently they told them, say nobody more pass to the mansion. Well, I don't know, but they were trying to prevent them from entering from the mansion way to the representative house there.
Capital building.
Yeah, to Capital building. Do not take the road, pass on the main road, because when we're looking at the protest to the gate, it was peaceful, led by Pearl Brown Boo. We saw them there. So I believe the police told them, say, you pass on that side. But sometimes in protest, the leaders supposed to get microphone to inform their group.
Okay.
Apparently, they didn't know that the police are telling them, say, detour and go to the front way. Maybe they didn't hear. But we saw the police with a tear gas, and one of those children, there were two, but one came, jumped over the fence. So Temple just a long fence in front of the gate there and fell down. So I was wondering, I said, but how will that person run from way over there? When they did martial out or wow, or what kind of child? Who is this? They jump over that long fence with those son in there and drop in the fence. I think it was some people were trying to help that person.
Okay.
So yeah, so I mean, I'm sorry for that person that go help them today, and they say there was blood all over them. But I think that only that one person that I still feeling sorry for, because I think it's
okay.
All the way the security tried to tell them, say, don't jump, don't do that, but still I'm making down B-32 in the fence, and nobody, they just happy he walked through. And he went, but I believe he hurt today.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all happy.
Okay.
Thank you for the show.
All right. Thank you so much, Mama. Keep listening, okay?
Okay.
All right. 077, we can take one more. 0778-440-964 or 0778-1320-94 are the two numbers activated for you. You can call us. Let's talk about the issues that matter. And of course, you will be just right on this radio. It's very important. Mr. James Labro is calling me. Let's take his call. So he's called from West Point. Let's hear you. Mr. Labro, welcome.
That's been a long time, man.
I'm here, and thank God you joined us.
Happy to hear you on the radio.
Okay. Take 1 minute quickly.
With your fair and balanced and credible information that you bring to the table. I must commend you for that. Even those, yeah, but it is right. But that today, Desmond was sad for some of us with the way the amount of fun which the police behaved to us today.
Okay.
Because prior to this plan, and we have been conscientizing our people that we should remain. If I listened to you yesterday, encouraging people to be peaceful, and we spread that message to our people in the community. We told them, but when your mind made up, I don't know why this administration is so bitter when they hear a demonstration when they hear a protest. protest, it is not mean that we are going to bring government down. It's our right to carry our petition to the lawmakers. And that is our faith. That is the place where we do, we implore. They are working there for us. It is our right answer. But if it deprives us of not entering our faith, I think constitutionally, again, you breach the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia.
Okay.
You could impeach on our right as a peaceful citizen. So let me say thank you again, Mr. Fletcher. How am I monitoring you?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Where you go?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Labra. He has been an ardent follower of me. That's a fan who never ceases to support me. But let's read your comments quickly before we take leave of you. Right on our live stream, Lawrence, God favor me, Dolly Jr. says, hi, General. Home Poison say because they was having a good IG. Samson Blood manager says it is simple because Liberia's octogenarian old man, President Joseph Newman Boakai, is a dictatorial squadding president. JMB located of leadership seriously. I don't know what the person is saying. Ibrahim F. Tamba says that. Ibrahim Tamba says we told people that former President George Weah is peaceful. Then another president then existed in the history of Liberia. Ibrahim Tamba goes on to say former President Weah gives water and food to protesters during his presidency. Lawrence known there. I said no, there were a lot of men changed and replaced by UPist. I'm sure it's because of what I said. Running through, Lawrence say, please read your number again. Say Gonganu. Say you go back there again. Great job, LMP. Say Gonganu says again, you go regroup and come tomorrow. The hot water truck will be waiting. George, I showed those are all the comments. But folks, thank you for always being there. We love your comments and your suggestions, whatever you've left on our live stream. But again, we want to say thank you for always being there. We're not taking any more calls. The phones are still ringing. We're not taking any more calls. Join us tomorrow. We might just give you a lot of time to call on tomorrow when we talk about similar issues and maybe some more right here on Kia Radio 95.9. Until then, tomorrow is another day. Up next is the news with our news team.